Hello and welcome back to another episode of my MotoGP 20 career mode here in Moto2. Now first things first, if you haven't seen the previous episode, I do urge you to go check that out to see how we've got to this point. But obviously in this episode, actually in the next race in Thailand, it is possible for us to wrap up the World Championship if we outscore Tom Luthi by 3 points or more. I think actually technically we might be able to win with 2, but I'm not sure about the race wins, so to be definitely sure we need to outscore him by 3 points in this next race, and we become world champion here at Thailand. Now I've got no notifications or anything like that, so I'll head straight in there. I'll see you at the end of free practice after I've done my one lap to get into Q2. So the session was actually wet track. The whole weekend seems to be wet, and I didn't take into account the fact that obviously the track speeds up drastically, so we are really far down. We are in 23rd place in this free practice session, so we are going to have to go through Q1 this time, which obviously is something we actually haven't had to do before. So that'll be quite interesting. I've got to remember to go out right at the end of that session as well to do the lap. So then, as I expected, we easily got through into Q2. Look, we got fastest by 1.2 seconds. Quite strange who's actually in the session. Dalla Porta in second place in this session. Bastianini in fourth. Luca Marini was in this session as well. So some of the top riders actually down in this session. Bezzecchi right near the bottom of the list actually. So Bezzecchi really struggling. But weird to see Marini. That means he's going to qualify in 19th place. So now we're here in Q2, so I'm going to do the same strategy as I did before. What I did was I waited for 4 minutes to go, went to go to track, which then gave us about 2 minutes. That's just enough to do one lap, and then the track is basically the best it can be, of course. So here we are then, coming towards the final turn. To be honest, Chang is probably the worst track that I would want in the wet. Like, it's just loads and loads of hairpins, so you're trying to fire them out, you're just spinning up the rear. In the race, it's going to be awful, because the race is also wet. It's not wet track, it is... It's actually just rain. But the whole weekend was actually wet. Every single session was either wet track or rain. So a bit weird here. So 37.4 for Schrotter. So actually I think a bit slower than they were going in Q1. But to be honest, obviously Dalla Porta's pretty good at qualifying. So him being down there definitely skewed it. And I suppose obviously same for me. I would have brought the actual fastest time in Q1 down dramatically. Right, so we're 30 thousandths underneath the time so far. But this is what I mean. The bike just spins out of the hairpins. Obviously before, when we did wet races, it was at tracks like Argentina, I suppose, is a little bit similar in that way, but a lot of the corners are long corners, and Mugello, definitely not like this at all. When we had the wet race there, obviously we had quite a bit of pace. We were kind of getting it stopped through Buccini and stuff. We are 3 tenths now underneath the time as well as Schrotter, so that's nice. We've gained a little bit more on him. We gained quite a bit through this sector in Q1 on Dalla Porta's time, probably gained about 4 tenths. I think we were virtually even with his time before that, and then we got a massive chunk, and then in the last sector again, we got another massive chunk of time. It's probably about just getting it stopped for the hairpins and things like that. That's where you would gain the most time. So we're already 6 tenths underneath Schrotter's time, so we should be able to go to the top pretty easily, and there's not much time in the session left for anyone to respond if that's what they want to do. So hopefully we will get a pretty decent qualifying spot as we go down towards the final turn of this circuit then, hitting the brakes. All the AI seems to be going in the pits at the same time. It did this in Q1 as well, and I thought it was really weird. So out of the last corner then, coming up towards the line. Are we going to go pole position? 35.7, so even faster than we did in Q1. Hector Garza has crashed apparently. But I think that should be pole position, 1.6 seconds. Well, they're all going into the pits with 40 seconds to go, so that should be plenty. So it seems like we have quite an advantage over the AI in the wet at least anyway, which is quite good because the race is going to be in the wet. 1.3 seconds ahead of Baldassari there in second place, and Tom Luthi in third, 1.4 seconds off. So if it ends like this, we will win the championship. So let's head into the race and try and win. So we're down here on the grid then in Thailand, and it's absolutely pouring it down. Luckily for us, we had pretty good pace in the wet, but that was wet tracks. Of course, it's going to be a little bit different. I remember back in the last wet race, obviously Marini had great pace in Argentina when it rained. In Mugello, which was actually the last wet race, Baldassari was the guy that we were going with. Navarro did a pretty good job. Not sure where Luthi dropped to, but obviously our focus is on Luthi in this race, so we need to make sure that we can try and beat him. So we're on pole once again here in Thailand. This could be the deciding round. Baldassari alongside us, and on the other side of the front row it's Tom Luthi. The lights are on. We're waiting for the lights to go out here. The lights and away we go off the line here at the Chang International Circuit. Back off the throttle so the rear stops spinning up. So we're down to second. We're back up into first as we go towards the first corner. Here in Thailand, we've gone in a bit wide. There's been a crash behind. Lorenzo Dalla Porta's gone skidding off at the first corner. Poor Dalla Porta, once again, no luck. He qualifies well, and he doesn't finish too great. Obviously, he's been slipping through the order a lot, and he's had a few crashes as well. He's not had much luck this season, poor old Lorenzo Dalla Porta. As we go into turn 3, we've got off the circuit, we've made a mistake. It's like Kimi Ring all over again. In fact, Kimi Ring was a wet race as well. I neglected to mention that. Oh no! Navarro's just cut in front of Canet and had him off. Oh, massive pile up in the background here. I don't know if I slightly caused that, but Navarro just seemed to cut across Canet. And that was a massive accident in the background there. That is terrible. Oh dear. So our teammate may be helping us out there. Lorenzo Della Porta's gone down again, so I don't know whether he's been caught up in that or what have you, but he's down again and Canet's down again as well. So yeah, perhaps the two of those have collided now. We've got to try and maintain this position if we can, because at the minute we're in front of Luthi. I don't know if Luthi was caught up in that accident. I can't see him behind, so he potentially could have been. That'd be obviously an unfortunate way for the championship to end. A weird crash that involves Tom Luthi. We'll have a look at it on the replay after the race anyway. But for now, I want to try and win the championship with a win. So I'm going to try to hunt down Baldassarri and Schrotter. But Schrotter looks like he's getting away. We've got the run on Baldassarri into the last corner there, up the inside, up into second position now. The rear slides on the entrance to that corner, trying to get down on the power. Up towards the line then. We're still in front of Baldassarri, but Baldassarri's got the run. I don't see Luthi anywhere, so I think Luthi might have been involved in that accident, unfortunately for Tom Luthi. So the last couple of races, he's not had much luck. Baldassarri, okay, it was corner cutting massively there. It reminds me of Bezzecchi back at Austin. And it's allowing Schrotter to get away, but we've got the slipstream now on Baldassarri to the left-hand side. Are we going to get in front of him? Yes, we are. We're in front of him for now. So we've got to hunt down Marcel Schrotter for the win here in Thailand. But up the inside once again goes Baldassarri. So Baldassarri not letting us have this position easily. And here comes Bastianini out of nowhere. Bastianini's now overtaken us, so we're slipping down the order here. Baldassarri's going slow. Oh, we're going to go either side of him. I've had a bit of contact with Baldassarri there, so what happened to Baldassarri? He's still there. But me and Bastianini just split Baldassarri there. And Bastianini's going straight after Schrotter. He's almost caught him already. So I'm back up into third place, but a different rider in front of us now in second. And Baldassarri's still trying to come up the inside. Baldassarri not trying to let us have this easily. Obviously, he's fighting for just as many points as he can get now, because actually Schrotter is quite close to him in the championship. And I think with this, he would probably actually overtake him. Bastianini's season... not Bastianini. Bastianini's... he did pretty well at Aragon, actually. So Bastianini, the last couple of races, has been fantastic. But Baldassarri's championship, is what I meant to say, really took a tumble. Obviously, it looked like he was probably the favourite at the beginning of the season. And now he's dropped so far out of the title, he already can't win it. And Schrotter's come from behind and almost caught him as well. Same with Navarro, although Navarro's not going to be gaining any points in this race. If we go around the outside into the last corner, the rear is sliding so much. Look at the rear tyre already, actually. It's so worn. We're not even halfway through the race yet, so we are going to drop back through the order a lot later. Bastianini passes up off the race. Bastianini's going for the lead on Schrotter. No, not quite. So Schrotter holds the lead now, and he's really holding up Bastianini by the looks of it. Here comes Bastianini once again. He's going for the inside. Can he pull it off? No, he can't quite do it on the brakes, and we're all over the back of them now. Bastianini finally goes through on Schrotter. So he's finally dispatched of Marcel. Marcel finally loses the lead here. Is he going to be able to attack him back? Or are we looking for a move on him now? Around the inside now. It's around the outside of Schrotter. Here we go, down towards the last corner. We've got the run on Bastianini as well. Are we going to go for the lead once again? Hitting the brakes at the last corner. We've taken the lead once again here in Thailand, although we've not had it since the beginning. Bastianini tries to go on the outside. He can't quite pull it off, and I think he might have lost the place to Schrotter again. Yes, he has. So I've undone Bastianini's hard work, but we've now hit the front on lap 4. Here comes Schrotter. Here comes Baldassarri. Look at Baldassarri's run. Here he comes. He's just gone from 4th to 1st. Bastianini coming the other side of us as well, so we've got a terrible exit out that first corner. But hitting the brakes then for this hairpin up the inside. We're going to be 3 wide. I'm being pinched towards the apex. I've just had to back out of that not to cause an accident. And Baldassarri now hits the front. So Bastianini cannot get a break. Every time he gets past Schrotter, someone immediately gets past him. But we're getting a slipstream on Baldassarri once again then here towards his left-hander. It's a bit like a couple of laps ago where me and Bastianini were both trying to go past Baldassarri here. But Bastianini might get a bit of a break now that he's hit the front for once. We're looking at the inside of Baldassarri, but it's not going to happen there. So as we start the penultimate lap then, looks like those two are pulling away from me. So I think it's going to be 3rd place in this race by the looks of it, if we can hold off Marini behind. So as we start the final lap then, Bastianini does the fastest lap of the race. He's pulling really far away now, so it looks like it's going to be Bastianini's first win of the season here with Baldassarri in 2nd. We're still trying to fend off Marini behind us, but I think we might have what it takes. Although we've got a lot of spin there. In fact, it's Nagashima now. So I don't know where Marini's gone, but it's now Tetsuya Nakajima trying to take our podium off us here when we're fighting for the championship. Obviously, we could let him go, but I want to try and get a podium with this championship here. Oh, we've gone wide once again. Is that going to allow Nagashima through? Yes, it is. So Nagashima gets through up into 3rd place, but we've got the better exit. We've actually got quite a bit of tyre left. To be honest, I think I just tried to save the tyre and let those guys get too far in front. But here we go, side by side now, with Nagashima coming towards the fastest corner on the circuit. Obviously, very scary corner. We've probably gone in a bit hot, actually. So I've got a line through. Oh, I'm not sure. I don't think it quite is, because we're going to squeeze in towards the apex. The rear is slid, though. The rear is slid. That's going to allow him back up the inside. Yes, it is. And now I really am struggling for tyre. The heat more than the wear, to be honest. Obviously, because there is still a bit left on the tyre. It's not totally gone. We've really sliding all over the place here. I really want to get a podium here in this race to try and cap off the championship with a podium. We are running out of opportunities quickly, and someone is really close to us. It's like Schrotter. So Schrotter, after leading obviously earlier on, slipped back through the pack. It looks like now he's probably going to maybe get us for 4th place here. As we go towards the final corner then, Nagashima's going to have the position. We're not going to be able to do anything from this far back. Obviously we had been pretty good on the brakes into here, but not that good. So as we go into the last corner then for the final time, now the rear is still sliding. We're running out of fuel up towards the line, and is Schrotter going to beat us? Not quite, so it's going to be 4th place and the championship here in Thailand. So obviously we did have pretty decent pace, but once again, as tends to happen in these wet races, we didn't have the tyre really to fight at the front. I had to look after it quite a bit because I saw at the end of the second lap it was basically half gone, and I didn't want to end up finishing really far down the order once again, so I thought I'd just try and fight for the podium. But unfortunately Nagashima just managed to get us there, and we couldn't do too much about it. Obviously you can see Bastianini and Baldassarre really did have a pace of their own, so they were always going to pull away, I suppose. But let's have a look where Tom Luthi finished. I'm guessing he retired because I did not see his name at all in that race. Yes, he did. He retired. Same with Lowe's and Canet and Dalla Porta. Unfortunately, all those riders retiring. But that does gift us the World Championship then, so we'll have a look at the championship standings now. So then we leave with a 111 point lead, which is 11 more than we needed, or probably 10 I suppose, just in case of the amount of wins Luthi has. I'm not sure how many it is. So we are the World Champions then, leaving Buriram. Marini third. It's actually only 1 point ahead of Baldassarre again now, so Baldassarre is really catching back up to Marini, so we'll probably have that 3rd place in the championship again very shortly. But it actually looks like 3rd could be up for grabs from any of the riders in 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. So Nagashima's only 21 points off of Luca Marini. He's actually been pretty good over the course of this season, to be fair to him. Bastianini moves up 8th place, not 8 places, he moves up to 8th, up 2 places, after finally getting his first win of the season. So well done to Bastianini there. Di Antonio dropping down to 9th, and obviously Lowe's dropping down to 10th after having that DNF and scoring nothing. In the team's championship then, we now lead by 126 points. Probably courtesy of Luthi's retirement there, and also I beat Schrotter, so that's probably why. Red Bull Aya and Moto2 move up to 3rd in the constructors, which is pretty good considering Martin's not had the best season, but Nagashima's been really doing bits. He's been putting in a lot of effort, and then obviously SkyVR46 moving down to 4th place. So quite interesting. That 3rd place has been held by about 4 different teams, and I think it's all pretty close between them. Obviously you've got to bear in mind that there's usually bigger swings in Constructors' Championships per race, because obviously you can score more points, so it really could be between any of the 3rd, 4th or 5th, and maybe even Mark VDS, but I think they are falling out of it a little bit. But yeah, Red Bull IO, Sky Racing and Flexbox HB40 are all very close to each other. So we'll have a look at those incidents, and then we'll head into, actually not Park Ferme, because obviously we finished 4th, so we'll head into the career hub. Fortunately, we don't get to see a celebratory cutscene, but we will see it at the end of the season now that we've won the championship. So on board with Dalla Porta then towards the first corner, obviously where he had his first crash. He got absolutely swamped, and Fernandez just clips him on the outside there. Down he goes. We've seen that crash so many times this season. So yeah, obviously Fernandez just going for his apex. Dalla Porta a bit slower in the middle, and unfortunately goes down there. Like I said, we've seen this so many times. And actually it had Fernandez off as well, so we'll have a look from on board Fernandez in a second. So Fernandez on the outside, he clips in there, he gets dragged wide by the bike, and obviously he then eventually falls as well. They both get back on. Oh, someone else is down as well. We'll actually have to take a look at that. Oh, that was Jake Dixon, wasn't it? So, yeah, we need to see what happened with him. Yeah, so look, he's sliding the rear end. Ramirez just taps him, it just taps him the rest of the way around, and down he goes. Poor old Jake Dixon. So this is on board with Navarro then. He's coming towards the edge of the track, and you can see me come back on the circuit, and he just overreacts, cuts in front of Canet, and obviously that throws him off, and he gets back on. So if we slow it down then, I'm coming back on the circuit. I've left everybody plenty of room, I'm staying on the outside, but for some reason, Navarro starts turning right to get away from me, and then he just turns towards Canet, realises his mistake, starts to try and turn left, but it's too late, and it just, because of the angle he has him off. I think something similar happened in one of the historic challenges. I think Biaggi, he tried to turn away from Roberts Jr. and got absolutely sent up into the air. So it's on board with Canet then. And yeah, you can see Navarro just cuts across him and it sends him up onto a wheelie there. Gardner just misses him, and here comes Luthi, plows him, absolutely knocks him off the bike. Obviously Luthi couldn't do anything, and then you can see Sam Lowe's come flying in as well, so I'm guessing Sam Lowe's also got collected in that. You can see Sam Lowe's bike there actually, and obviously that's Luthi's bike as well, skittling down the road. So it's on board with Luthi then, you can see the crash ahead happen. Canet going so slow, he just hits him at the back, nothing he could do. And that's Luthi's championship gone right there, because I think he retired from that crash. So then, thank you to Navarro, the best teammate, for causing a crash that took out Luthi, but it looked like we were probably going to win the championship regardless, although we did slip back towards the end, so perhaps if Luthi had a bit of late race pace, it could have been interesting, but unfortunately he got taken out on the first lap, of course. But it did award us the World Championship. Obviously, you don't get any reputation or anything like that until the end of the season, although just not at all last year. I didn't get any. I got given 0 at the end of the season, which was a bit annoying. But at the end of this race, we gained 8,950 reputation points, which brings us up to 240,350 points. And as usual on the credits front, we gained 6,028 credits, which brings us up to 191,261 credits. So then the engine is now finally done. That engine upgrade took a long time to do. And to be honest, I'm not sure if we'll actually get the engine fully upgraded before the end of the season. We've only got 10 of 12 employees on here, but I thought we only had... Oh, it's because we've only got 10 of 12 hired, that's why. Right, so I may as well put this upgrade on because it's got less points. I'm guessing it'll be available faster. So improvement of engine intake and exhaust capacity, which is improved delivery. Develop that node. Everybody's already on it, so that'll take 4 weeks. So I'm guessing, yeah, we're not going to have a chance to upgrade this part. We might be able to upgrade it before the actual end of the year, but the season itself, I don't think we'll be able to upgrade that before Valencia, to be honest. So with nothing else to do, we will advance forward 1 more week. So we've now got a notification on the technical staff. So we've got another data analyst candidate. This is Isabella Ferreira once again. Pretty bad on the engine. Obviously you can see that takes the synergy down massively. Very good on the aero front. But to be honest, I don't think that quite fits with what I was looking for, so I'm going to refuse that one. Because I think I'm going to hire this one. I'm just going to wait. Obviously I'm just going to wait till the very last minute, because I don't want to be paying extra money for no reason whilst I'm in Moto2. I'm going to wait till the season is done and then I'll hire them then. Obviously got to try and look after the funds if I can. So, with nothing else to do then, we'll head into Motegi as the champion once again then. I'll see you at the end of free practice once I've done my lap to get into Q2, and hopefully we actually get into it this time. So we're here in qualifying because I accidentally skipped past the results screen of practice, but I'm guessing we went top of practice. Not sure. Yeah, you can see I'm quickest in this session so far, so that means I was obviously top of practice. I was top when I ended the session anyway, so... the AI seemed to have the pace over me through the whole track until the last sector. I was like about 2/10 down, basically around the whole lap. We were pretty similar, but I think maybe the first sector then they gained a bit of time on me, and then we were around 2/10 the rest of the lap. And then the last sector I just gained that all back and got fastest. So we need to put softs on again, bring down the fuel to 4 laps, and we'll head out onto the track. If you remember back to last season here at Motegi, obviously in Moto3, Albert Arenas got in our way, so I restarted the lap. Obviously I didn't have much fuel left, so I had to do a lot of the lap in fuel mode 0, but we still managed to get pole regardless, which I did find to be pretty impressive at the time, and I still kind of do. Almost like what we did at Catalonia this year, although I feel like Catalonia was maybe a tad more impressive since I had to do more of the lap in fuel mode 0 and had already crashed twice, so I was probably being a bit cautious as well because of that. So as we go into turn 3 then, back on the power once again, you can see also we've got 1.9 laps of fuel left. That is plenty this time. We're not going to be running out of fuel. Hopefully the rear is sliding quite a bit there, so we're 1.5 tenths away from pole position currently, which makes sense. Obviously that was around the same in free practice as well, so I just think that AI probably a bit quicker in sector 1 than I am. Probably because I haven't found the limits on the brakes for the, I think it's turn 3, because I think the first corner is counted as 2. Through 130R, then so obviously a couple of 130Rs then in Japan. We're now 2 tenths away, or 2.5 tenths away from pole position. So hopefully we can try and bring that back down to 2 in this next sector, and then try and take the pole position in the final sector. Just my line seemed a little bit better than, because I had Canet in front of me, and I was gaining on him the whole lap basically, because obviously he's not one of the fast AI, but then in the last sector I gained a big chunk on him, and I knew I was probably going to go top of the timesheets because obviously I wasn't that far off already. So out of the hairpin curve then, the funny names. We're 2.3 tenths now away from the top time, so we did get a bit of time in that sector as we go down towards the 90-degree corner. There are some very odd names at this circuit. I've gone in a bit wide into the 90-degree. A little bit weird because I'm sure 130R is a reference to radians, which is a different form of measuring angles. So it's a bit weird that they've mixed degrees and radians, but enough about maths anyway. So as we're coming up towards the line, are we going to go pole position here in Japan? Yes, we do. For now, 149.6. Whether that will be the fastest at the end of the session, I do not know. I suppose we'll skip to the end and we will find out. Well, once again, we have an extremely close qualifying. 25 thousandths of a second we're on pole by head of Baldassarri in second, and 65 back to Tom Luthi in third, and then Schrotter, 4th place on the grid, only being 1/10 off. And same with Della Porta. Della Porta's 1/10 off the pole time, and he's 5th place. Such a close order there. 6th place for Gardner, then half a second back. So you can see how much faster us top 5 are than the rest of the field. So this could be a very interesting race. Where's Bastianini, the race winner from last time? 10th place, only 6/10 off. So I've got to watch out for him. The last few races he's been very, very good. So I would expect more of the same. So we'll head into the race now, and hopefully we can try and get back on the podium in this race. So then we're down on the grid now, and Baldassarri really has been qualifying second a lot lately. Luthi in third. So obviously Luthi has all but got second place in the championship sealed. Obviously it's still possible that he will lose it. Although actually he probably did lose quite a lot of points to Baldassarri and Luca Marini in the previous race, obviously with his crash. So perhaps he's not out of the woods yet with that second place, but it looked like he's probably got it quite easily. We'll obviously have to have a look at that fight as it develops towards the end of the season. Although we're already pretty close to the end with only 4 races to go, and it'll only be 3 after this one. So without further ado, let's head straight into it and let's start this race. So pretty familiar sight with this front row. Myself first, Baldassarri second, and Luthi third. We've had that plenty of times this season. So waiting for the lights to go out here in Japan. Lights and away we go off the line. Bit of a wheelie. Obviously this time we're not spinning up loads because of the rain. So we've kept the lead as we go towards the first corner. Obviously the AI were faster in the first sector, so we've got to watch out for that. There's a crash behind. Hector Garzo down, but we've kept the lead through the first 2 corners there. Don't know who else has been collected in that. Xavi Vierge apparently has also been collected in that, so poor old Xavi Vierge there. So we go down towards this next corner, turn 3. I have broke probably a little bit early for that, so that's probably where the AI were gaining there. 0.2 of a second on me. Baldassarri in second place still. Not sure where Luthi is, although we haven't particularly got to worry about specific AI now. It's just all about trying to win as many races as we can before the end of the season. It's more about pride and obviously trying to get a bit of a higher reputation. So we've got more MotoGP teams available, because I'm not obviously sure who I'm going to sign with yet. We've got a few teams that would be interested, mainly the sort of KTM teams, and I think maybe Avintia. I can't particularly remember. I'll have to have a look after Valencia which teams are interested, but hopefully there will be some more interested after Valencia, obviously, because we will have won the championship by then. Well, obviously we have won it, but officially in the game it will have given us reputation points for winning the championship. You'd hope. And oh, Fernandez looking up the inside there. So Fernandez, wow, where's he come from? Don't even know where he's started on the grid, but pretty good start for Fernandez to be getting up the inside of me there. I did not expect that at all. We've almost clipped his front wheel as I've come back for the late apex, but Baldassarri's now got past him, and Schrotter's got past both of them. So the AI really are going at it. To be honest, this has been a great season. Lots of different riders we've been battling with the entire season. Obviously, mainly it's been Baldassarri, Luthi, and Marini, although not really so much Marini lately. I think he had a really good run as we first got up into Europe, and as well, obviously we were leaving the Americas. Obviously in Argentina he had a pretty good race, and I think he didn't do too bad in Kota. But to be honest, he's not been that great. He just built out a lot of points, and since loads of people have been winning races and finishing lower down the order, it's allowed him to stay sort of up there in third place. But to be honest, it has been nice to be battling so many different people. Obviously, Lowe's has won a race. We're battling, Nagashima. Sometimes we're battling Andy Farad Hizdaha in one of the races. Loads and loads and loads of different riders we've been battling. It's been a fantastic season. I hope you have all enjoyed it. I definitely have. So as we come up towards the line, then at the end of the second lap, we've got a pretty big lead now. 1:49.6 at the end of that lap. And that might even be faster than qualifying. 2.5 seconds in the lead of Schrotter in second now. So at the end of the third lap then, 1:50.4. So a bit slower for us on this lap. What's the gap now? 2.9 seconds. We still extended the gap ahead of Schrotter here. So we're about to start the penultimate lap then. 1:49.8 on that lap. So back in the 49s once again. What's the gap now? 3.9 seconds to Schrotter. Bezzecchi in third place. So Bezzecchi finally flying the flag since Austin. I don't think he's been anywhere near the front. So Bezzecchi finally near the front once again. for the Sky VR46 team, and they really do need it right now, but Marini's not near the front now. They need both their riders at the front to battle with obviously the Red Bull team for third place in the Constructors. We picked up a penalty as well there, that's a bit annoying. Fernandez has crashed. Don't know what position he's crashed out of, but he's crashed, and Edgar Pons has also crashed. So whether they've crashed together or what, I'm not too sure. So as we come towards the line then, to start the final lap, 1:50.4, so we've slowed down on that lap by quite a bit. What's the gap now? 3.4 seconds. We should be safe to take it to the flag now. Oh, Marini's crashed. So that's exactly what their team did not need at this point. Luca Marini crashing, Balega crashing as well. So quite a few crashes happening in the late stages of this race. Joe Roberts down as well. So coming towards the line then to win here in Japan at Motegi by quite a comfortable margin there. So Schrotter and Bezecchi on the last couple of laps, same with Baldassari as well, really up in their pace with 49.5s. Obviously my fastest lap was only a 49.6. But yeah, a bit of a trope with the AI, they seem to just randomly speed up right near the end of the races. It's so strange. But Thomas Luthi down there in 8th place, so after obviously his championship has gone down the toilet, he's now not got the motivation. 12 seconds off the back of us, massive margin here. So in the championship now, actually, there's been quite a change since obviously Marini crashed. Both Baldassari and Schrotter have gone past him. So Baldassari back up into the top 3 of the championship. He is actually quite far behind Luthi. So he's 27 points behind him. So to be fair, if Luthi crashes, then Baldassari finishes 1st or 2nd or something like that, it could definitely be a bit closer. And that's, I suppose, how Luthi got so far in front of Baldassari in the first place. Mainly those 2 races where Baldassari crashed out through 50 points away virtually. So Marini's finally dropping back down the standings a little bit. Obviously, it has been a long time. He got up into 2nd. He's slowly worked his way back down into 5th place now. After really, he only had a good couple of races near sort of the beginning of the season. Then in the Teams Championship then, despite obviously Marini's crash not particularly helping them out, Sky Racing and Red Bull Moto2 are now actually on the same amount of points, so the Rossi team moves back ahead, mainly because they got a better result in this race, I'm guessing. But that battle between those are going to go down to the wire. Obviously 3 races to go, anything could happen, and like I said, really 3rd, 4th or 5th could end up with that 3rd in the Constructors' Championship. So then we'll head into Parc Ferme and then the Career Hub, and then we'll end off the episode there. So back at Parc Ferme after winning the championship for the first time. Obviously, I would have preferred to have won the championship and had a podium at the same time, but we couldn't quite do it. We did the next best thing. We won the next race, so we've not lost any form, even though we've won the championship now. 3 rounds to go. If I can try and make another 3 wins, that would be lovely, but I don't know if that will happen. Hopefully the AI can give us a good race. Obviously, they have been doing that throughout the season. So on the reputation front now, we gained 11,550 once again, which now takes us over the 250,000 threshold to 251,900. And on the credits front, we gained 6,028 credits, which brings us up to 197,289 credits. So then we've got a notification on the technical staff front, another new candidate once again. Another A, but not very good on the engine. A bit better on the ECU than the one I'm planning on hiring. But to be honest, I think I'm going to go with the one obviously that I was already saving. And if we have a look at the chief engineer, I've already got one saved as well. I've basically got the 2 I want to hire saved. It's just I don't want to spend the money on them yet. Purely just because there's no point spending money on them in Moto2 when I can just wait and just spend the MotoGP money on them. Obviously, we'll have more credits overall then. So that is the end of this episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. We finally won our 2nd championship then. So we've won the Moto3 championship. We've now won the Moto2 championship. And at the end of the season, we'll be heading up to MotoGP and we'll be trying to conquer the MotoGP championship. So I hope you did enjoy that one. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. I hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next video.